Hello and welcome to Andy's Shed Life this Sunday the 29th of May 2022. This is Series 10, Episode 20 of Andy's Shed Life. Hello there and welcome to the show for this Sunday evening. Hope you're having a good week out there. Did you like the clock, our special Jubilee clock that you've been might have been watching for the last hour or so? It didn't take much doing, honestly, but yeah, continuing that old broadcast tradition here in the UK of decorating the idents and things for special events. We thought we'd have a special clock, which is this, of course. So yeah. Thought we'd do that for the Queen Jubilee, which of course is coming up this coming week. Thursday and Friday are bank holidays, so I actually might get something done, just for a change. Right, first thing I need to do is plug myself in, and I need to get the cable to plug myself in. Just bear with me 1 second. I've got my cable. Right, so how do we plug this in? There we go. Like this. Then we can see who is with us. In a minute. This wakes up. Come on, thing, wake up. Oh, that's wrong. Come on. Right, that's better. So, I'm just having a look in the chat now. See who's here. Where are we? There we are. It'll sort itself out in a minute, I hope. We'll see who we've got. Right. There we are. Let's come onto the silly top chat thing, stick it on live chat. So we've got Dominic, we've got Wesley, we've got Fat Hobbit. I've sort of made themselves known at the moment. I'm sure there's more there besides, but they're the ones. I can't see who's in the chat until they actually say something in the chat, and only when they say something can I actually see that they're there, sort of thing. The light's not very good in here, is it? Let's put a light on. Right. Does that make it any better? Marginally better. Right. Dominic here says evening. So does Wesley. Fat Hobbit says hello. Looking forward to the Jubilee phones. Dominic says, I was going to go to Christchurch, but apparently they're not running trams for the next few weeks. No, Dominic, they're not. Oh, Gambo's here as well. Evening, Gambo. No, Dominic, Christchurch is not running trams, but is still charging you rather a lot of money to get in. Still charging you a tenner to get in, even though you can't actually see any trams while you're there. There's been a bit of a furore about it online. Apparently, word on the street is that they've got some corroded traction poles, the poles that hold the overhead up. They've got, because they were all, of course, second-hand anyway from first-generation tramway systems, as all the equipment at Christchurch was, all the track and points and that. It was all originally second-hand stuff that they got from here, there, and everywhere when tramway systems were closing. And apparently a couple of the traction poles on the depot fan are corroded to the extent that they're worried about them falling over and bringing the overhead line down. And of course there's about 600 volts DC going through that overhead line, so they don't really want to do that. So that's why you've not got access to the depot fan or anything, and that's why they can't get any trams out of the depot. I'd have thought they could have pulled a tram out of the depot with some other vehicle, and then shut the depot fan off, and just energise the rest of the system, because I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe they can turn the depot fan's power supply off separately to the rest of the line. I think, I'm not certain, but I think. It's a long time since I've been there, so it's trying to remember how it all works. But yeah, so yeah, until they get this sorted out, the governing body has shut them down. It's not Her Majesty's Inspector of Railways anymore. It's something else. You know, the body that kind of has jurisdiction over them has changed names. When I was involved with trams and things years ago, it was Her Majesty's Inspector of Railways, and the railway inspector for Christ at the time should have been a chap called John Markham for the area, but he was actually a member of the Tramway Museum Society, so he said, no, I'm not going to actually inspect Christ because it's like a conflict of interests. So he got one of his colleagues from another area to do Christ, so he never actually inspected Christ. And interestingly, small world, John Markham was a telephone enthusiast as well, and he was the man behind the Strowger exchange and that they had at Crouch for some considerable time. But yeah, but that's going back years and years and years now. I'm guessing all the people have changed now that are involved in it. So I can't tell you any more other than what I hear through Facebook and things like that, and that's that there's something wrong with a traction pole. So what else can I tell you? I can't really tell you much of anything about it. I don't really know what's going on there, but I do think £10 a head to get in when you can't actually see any trams is extortionate. I think they should have opened for free. Basically, if the trams aren't running, they should have opened for free, generated some goodwill amongst the public, and of course they could have still took money off people in the shop and in the cafe and in the Red Lion pub and things like that, but hey ho, it's nothing to do with me. So they will do what they will do. So, but yes, it is a shame for the sake of the trams for them to be out of action again, isn't it? So if you want your fix of vintage trams, there are other places of course in the UK you can go. Heaton Park in Manchester has vintage trams running on an original piece of vintage tramway. It's one of only 3 places in the UK where there is bits of original tramway still operational. Of course, Blackpool is still operational, which is an original tramway, and the Isle of Man, Manx Electric Railway, original tramway, and the Douglas Head horse trams as well, but we'll count the Isle of Man as one because it's Snee Fell as well. And the other one is Heaton Park in Manchester, because the rails that run through the park in Heaton Park are actually original Manchester Corporation rails. It was a route of Manchester Corporation. The trams used to run into the park years ago, and the rails survived and are now a preserved line within the grounds of Heaton Park. And I have been, and it's quite a nice little tramway. I quite like Heaton Park. Also, another tramway that's actually celebrating a birthday this weekend. In fact, I believe it's actually today. It's 50 years today since the East Anglia Transport Museum at Carlton Colville near Lowestoft opened its doors for the very first time. And on opening day, Trams ran, I believe Blackpool 159 ran on opening day, which is still running today, 50 years later. So happy birthday to the East Anglia Transport Museum at Carlton, Colville, and all the team down there. Some of whom I know. I did a bit of voluntary work for them a few years ago. So hello and happy birthday everybody out there at Carlton. Right. Dominic says, on the topic of transport, has anyone visited Crossrail yet? No. Basically, Dominic. Well, I suppose somebody's visited it. I suppose somebody's been on it, but no. And COVID-19 has not gone away, basically. It's still killing around 6,000 people a month in the UK, COVID-19, if you dig into the figures. So it will be a long time before I go on any public transport, particularly as everybody's acting like idiots now and not wearing masks. So the answer to that is no, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's a modern railway, basically, Crossrail. I find it very difficult to get excited about it. And that, the purple line, yeah, as certain YouTubers are calling it, not the Elizabeth line, the purple line. But yeah, I'm not keen on the trains. I mean, I've seen the trains, not keen on the trains. They look a bit odd. Why have they got an orange front end? Don't get that at all. But yeah, it's yeah. Well, somebody will go to Crossrail, I suppose, eventually, and well, there's people who've been now. There's video and that of it and stuff. We'll send Christopher when he. Christopher's not here tonight. He's out and about, photographing the trains of Australia. So when he comes back and when he sees this, he'll get the shock of his life. Christopher, we need to send you to Crossrail in London to go and shoot some video of that. How you fixed? Right. Don't know if this is working right tonight. The chat doesn't seem to be moving like it normally does. I don't know if YouTube's messing with it or something tonight. We shall see. Right. Well, as it's Jubilee week, sort of, because it's Thursday, Friday. When is the actual Jubilee? Is it Friday? Friday? Friday. Yeah. Nobody knows for certain, do they? But as it's Jubilee week, we thought this would be a good opportunity to show you a Jubilee phone. So I just happen to have one here. This is an original phone from the Queen's Silver Jubilee in 1977. So what does that make it now then? That's from 1977, from the Silver Jubilee, and it's now the Platinum Jubilee, which is how many years? 50, 70 years, isn't it? 70 years. 60, 50. So this is 25 years. So yeah, it's 45 years ago. 45 years ago that this was made. Actually, it was made longer ago than that, because these Jubilee phones were not made in 1977, even though everybody thinks they were, and even though they've got a thing on the front that says 1977, you see that? They were not actually made in 1977, because there is a story behind them. For those who don't know, I'll quickly go through the story. The Jubilee phone later came back as the GPO 776 compact telephone. And I have done a video about these in the dim and distant past. If you go and look on the channel for something like converting compact telephones and Jubilee phones and that, you'll find a video all about them. It explains what all the differences are of them. But basically, this phone was the field trial phone for the 776. Now the 776 came out in the late 70s, but in the early 70s they had a field trial, and the phones from the field trial in the early 1970s ended up being taken back, having this new dark blue case fitted to them, and were then sent out as Jubilee phones. Now, between the field trial and the 776 phone being launched in the late 70s, some changes were made, which means Jubilees and 776s are not the same inside. The wiring is different, particularly in the bell set. So when you come to wire the bell set, and the little grey box is the bell set, when you come to wire up the bell set, it is different for a 776 bell set to what it is for a Jubilee bell set. So if you buy a bell set on its own, you need to find out if you have indeed bought a Jubilee bell set or if you have bought a 776 bell set, because as I say, they are different. And I don't know if I can get the top off this one. We'll have a go. Got the wrong end in my screwdriver. And it's just a matter of unhooking the case. That's it, on the short side. And these are not easy to get apart, they're really not. There is a metal thing in here that should slide out, but is it going to come? This is where you end up messing it up. You should do this on camera and go, here's one I did earlier. There, got it. You'll see why it was difficult in a minute. It was difficult because of these two lugs in here and here, which are held on to two little things here and here. You see, two hooks. Now, the other thing you've got here is a metal plate on the back. Now this back piece is broken. There's should be a little bit there, like there is there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. And this should slot in like so. And this is your bracket for holding the bell set onto a wall or something. So what you would do, you would put that on your wall like that, put screws through these slots in the back, and then this, in theory, slots on like that to it. So it then sits like that. But the difference with these is the terminals. This, being a Jubilee, only has terminals on one side, and there's 7 terminals there. Well, on a 776 there's some terminals over here as well, and that's what makes the big difference. The 776 has got the terminals over here as well, so you wire it totally differently, you know, to different terminals to what you do for one of these, and the terminals are in a different number order as well. On the Jubilee, just got to remind myself, there are tiny little numbers on them. Yeah, so on Jubilee, that way, this way up, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and because they're in the bell set, they are not T terminals, so it's not T1 to 7. They are B terminals because they're in the bell set, so B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6 and B7. And you can see where some wires have been cut on this because it's not actually got a line code on it, this one. But yes, so that's what's inside one of these. And 776, I say, is totally different because there's some more of those transposed over there, and there's a ribbon cable that connects them that goes underneath the monocoil bell as well. The bell gongs, as far as I know, are standard. You've got your 24A and your 24B gongs. As far as I know, they are a standard part. I believe the monocoil ringer unit could well be the same as they put in 746s later. Could well be. I'm not totally certain on that, but I think the monocoil is the same as some of the very late 746s. Right, what's everybody up to in the chat? Falbert says he was on the first Crossrail train open to the public. He says it was great. So Fat Hobbit's been on Crossrail. Crikey. Dominic says he's warming to the Jubilee phones. Yeah, well, they might not have been these, you see, Dominic. They might have been trim phones. Things been different. I'll tell you a bit about them in a minute. Yeah, so my comments are not getting out. Well, that one has. Are any of you others getting out? I think YouTube might be acting a bit strange at the minute. Try, if you're having trouble, if any of you are having trouble with the chat or anything, just try logging out of YouTube and everything. Switch your computer off or whatever it is you're using. Switch it back on again and log back in. And that normally clears it. Yeah, it says this message got through, but not the one on my Hungarian phone. Oh, I wonder why. Wesley says, have you got a standard compact bell set to compare? Yes, Wesley, if you have a look at the video that I did about these, that is on the channel. If you search for compact phones and Jubilee phones, you'll find it. If you have a look at the video that I did, I take them both apart side by side, a compact and a Jubilee, and explain in great detail the differences with wiring diagrams and stuff to show you. But because wiring them up is tricky, because not only are there more terminals in one than the other, the terminals are in a different order as well. But it's all in that video that I did. Gambo says, I have a standard bell set for my 776. I will attempt to take a picture of how I wired it up also. That is the other thing. That's a very good point there, Gambo. A lot of these phones have lost their bell set over the years. So they've lost the bell set and this big long cable that connects the two together. You can wire them so you've just got the phone and it won't ring. And the reason you can do that without damaging anything is because the induction coil, the all-important induction coil that protects the components in the handset, the induction coil is actually in the telephone, not in the bell. So you can have the phone on its own. Again, if you've got the phone on its own, you want to wire it on its own without a bell, again, that video that I did about compacts and Jubilee phones, that tells you all about it. Dominic says, how easy is it to use the dial on a Jubilee compact compared to a normal 700 series phone? Do they slide about like the trim phone? Yes. Basically they do. Let me put the lid back on. They do slide about quite a lot. That is a problem with them. Bear in mind we're talking the same era as the trim phone here, and similar difficulties, but yes, they do slide around, as you can see from me doing that. Oh. I have heard mention that they are supposed to be low friction dials in these, that supposedly don't take as much effort to dial, so you can stop the sliding around problem. All I can tell you is I've never seen any evidence of it. The dials look exactly the same to me. They don't actually look any different to any of the other dials. Let's see if we can get the centre out. There's the famous opal, and here is the little thing with two pips on the back that engage in the little two holes in there with the 1977 on. Yeah. Now these are interesting because there were two versions of these. There was an English version and a Scottish version. As far as I know, I've only got the English version ones, and I've got some that have lost them, because obviously you take that out, then you can put your number and that back in there as you would normally. But with this in, of course, you can't do that. So these have got a little thing for the number under the handset there, but this has still got its original one in. So they've got that, and that is covered over with a little plastic cover, which is the same as on the later push button variant phones, the various push button 700 variants that were based on the 746. The little cover is the same, and I think also the same as the cover on push button trim phones as well. But yeah, the dial is not particularly easy to turn, and it does skate around exactly the same way that a trim phone skates around, exactly the same way. Underneath there are telephone 2-stroke SA 4271. Now the reason they got that oddball number, as far as I'm aware, is because they were a field trail phone. They didn't have a 7XX series number at this point. And then it says batch sample and FWB 771, i.e. they were refurbished in 1977. That's a typical refurbished sticker, black background, white writing on, that they will put on. And then there's this big sticker that's stuck on as well, and it's normally almost entirely rubbed off, but it says on it, a production of the PO factory Kumkan to celebrate the Silver Jubilee of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, 1952 to 1977. And unfortunately those things rub off, but I don't know if I get that up close and get it in the right light, perhaps you can read it. But there wasn't much thought went into the production of those stickers, and they rub off, unfortunately. So, bit of a downer really that they come off, but there you go. Right. Okay. What is everybody up to? Let me turn onto my camera so it's in focus again, which is not easy actually at the minute. Getting things in focus is quite difficult for some reason today. Farbit says he went from Farringdon to Canary Wharf and then later on to Abbey Wood on Crossrail. Excellent. But yeah, so it's the same bell set as late 746s. Yeah, I think it is the same bell set. The difference is, on a Jubilee, there is no adjustment thing. There is no little lever to adjust the loudness of the bell on a Jubilee. There is on a 776. There is a little lever to adjust the loudness on the 776, but it's not present on a Jubilee. I think it was something they thought of in the mid-70s, and they just hadn't done it in time, I don't think, when these Jubilees came out. Gambo says, I suppose it's how slippery the surface is. This relates to them sliding around, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, they really shouldn't slide about, should they? I mean, how difficult would it have been for them to have put feet on made out of suckers like that? You know, so if you've got a hard surface they were likely to slide around on, you could just stuck them down. I mean, they could have done that quite easily. They made rubber feet, but they're just not flexible enough to be suckery like that. But they could easily have done that, and I don't know why they didn't, really. The answer to it, which I have seen done on many occasions, a big gob of blue tack in the recess in the bottom of the feet, and then just press it down and hopefully it'll stay there. That's the way that I've seen it done in the past. What it says, I thought the refurbished phones were FWR, not FWB. Factory Wales refurbished. Hang on. It's definitely a B on this. I think they normally are FWR, aren't they? When it's like a 746 that's been refurbished and that, I think it normally is FWR. But for some reason, these say FWB. I shall have a look at my others, because I've got others of these. I think I've got about 6 of these Jubilee compacts. So I will have a look. Jimmy says, have you got a Jubilee trim phone? Now Jimmy. Now. I almightily upset somebody on a forum once. A good few years ago. Who posted on a forum that he'd got the prototype Jubilee trim phone. His story was that the post office had asked various telephone manufacturers what they could do for the Queen's Silver Jubilee. The post office wanted a Silver Jubilee telephone, and they asked various manufacturers what they could do. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know what other manufacturers did, but the only one that I know about that actually did anything, that actually tried to do anything, was STC. And they came out with trim phones that were basically a white body with a dark blue handset, and on the top of the handset, on here, was a very nice sort of, I don't know if it was a transfer or if it was some kind of print or how they did it, but it was a very nice sort of gold ER and sort of Queen's cipher on here, and I think it said Silver Jubilee 1952, 1977 on it as well, and it was printed on there. Now this guy said he got the prototype. He said, this is the prototype, this is it, this is what STC made for the Jubilee phone, but then the post office didn't use it because they went with these instead. But the thing is, this phone, this prototype phone, turned up on eBay. And regularly turned up on eBay. And then one turned up in America, and then another one turned up on eBay, and another one. And then I heard that these prototype phones were not prototypes at all, but STC actually did make a batch of them and gave them to their workforce as a special Jubilee gift. Now, it doesn't happen so much these days. Maybe it does still a bit, but in 1977 at the Queen's Silver Jubilee, a lot of companies gave out a Jubilee gift to their workforce. School children all got a Jubilee gift. I was at school at the time and I got a Silver Jubilee mug, and I was given that at school, and it was kind of the done thing at the time that you gave a gift for a Jubilee. You know, it was celebrated big time. Lots of people put decorations up, and that it was a massive celebration, far more so than it is now. And so we think that STC pressed on and made a batch of these phones and gave them to their workforce for the Jubilee, and every now and again one turns up. So anybody who says there is only one of these because the GPO didn't go ahead with it is nonsense, basically. There's lots of them. There's maybe 100, maybe even more than 100, and every now and again one turns up, and there are photographs of them, and there's video of them, and every now and again one will turn up on eBay for ridiculously silly money. One did turn up on eBay once for not much money a few years ago, and I regret not having bought it, because I think it sold for about 40 quid. Yeah, they're not as rare as some phone collectors would have you believe, because I think everybody at STC got one. I don't know this for certain, but I think they did, because some people say there were only two. There was a dial variant and there was a push button variant, and they were the only two. They were prototypes. I've seen it too often in different people's hands for there to only have been two of them. You know, I've seen them all over the shop. Yeah. So, yeah. Miguel says, it seems you cannot say what you want. Just proved it by adding a link. Pity this happens. It was a good link. I will mention it on my YouTube. Can you not add a link then? You should be able to add a link. I'm sure you should be able to add a link. I have to say, YouTube have been doing lots of stupid things recently. So are they now not allowing you to write a thing with a link in it? What you have to do, Miguel, is put it on again, but instead of putting, you know, break it up a bit or something. You know, break the link up so it reads right, but you can't click on it. You know what I mean? Put a space in it somewhere, and that'll confuse the YouTube bot that deletes it. Hopefully. I don't know why they don't allow links in the comments. It seems silly, that. Or why don't they give me an option to turn it off? You know, if I want to have links in my comments, why can't I have links in my comments? Does seem a bit silly, but there you go. I've asked people to put links in stuff before. Can you not put a link in a comment then? I shall try writing a comment myself and see if I can put a link in it. Oh, hang on. No, it's not going to let me do it. Hang on. Right. I've written a link, I think. Is that going to come out? It's not come up on the chat on the screen yet. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it's come out, hasn't it? So let me try clicking on that. It works for me then, but maybe it works for me because it's my stream. But I'd have thought it should work. Oh, David's here. Hello, David. David says, link is working, Andy. Cool. Don't know why my Gets link doesn't work then. That is odd. Can somebody else just try putting a link in? Somebody else just try typing a link and see if it comes out. See if it's a general YouTube people in chat problem. See if only the sort of owner of the channel can put the link in. Or is it just a problem that me gets signed for some reason? Some weird thing with YouTube. Somebody else have a go. Type in a link. We'll try and sort it out. Got no idea what's going on there. I've never... Nobody's ever sort of flagged that up to me before. But we will have a little look at that. So yes, so this is the Jubilee telephone. Designed, by the way, these Jubilee phones, designed so this box fits on your skirting board. This is supposed to be put on your skirting board like that, and then it's supposed to have a long wire, this massively long curly cord, and it is a long curly cord. This massively long curly cord, some of which is coming uncurled. This massively long thing from your skirting board up to your windowsill where your phone is supposed to sit. Because the reason this phone exists is for no other reason than it will fit on a windowsill where a 746 won't. They wanted a phone that would fit on a windowsill. Because normal 746s don't fit very well on a windowsill. And that's why what was to become the Jubilee and the 776 were made purely and simply so they could fit on a windowsill. And he gets us tried again and failed. Somebody else try it. Somebody else try and just type a link in the chat. I want to know if it's just him having trouble with it or if it's everybody having trouble with it. Well, that's interesting because I thought people could post links. Normally it tells me, do you want to, like, it gives me an option to show or delete if it thinks there's something a bit dodgy in the chat, and if it's somebody that I know, I just press show. But that's not come up tonight. I wonder why that is. But Google is doing all kinds of strange things at the moment. They're going to stop you using third-party email programs to get your Google Mail. So if you use something like Thunderbird or Outlook to get your mail, very soon you're not going to be able to do it by just putting your email address and your password into your email program. Because Google's going, oh, we want to do two-step verification. And I hate, with a passion, two-step verification. And before any internet nerds say, oh, it's super safe two-step verification, a password is safe enough. If Vladimir Putin wants to read my emails, good luck to him. I could not care less. They're not that interesting. Dominic says, I've put up a link to the Greenwich Tramway Museum as test, but it's not showing either. Right. Oh, so it must be all links not showing then. Now if I can... Doesn't look like there's anything that I can set to alter that. Hello, what have we got here? No, I don't want to do that. No, there's not a setting to do anything about it. Drat. I'll have to look into that in the week, because I think you should be able to post links. David said, just trying to copy your link and post it again. It's now not letting me post the link. It's disappearing. Very strange. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Dominic says, careful now, Andy. I hear Mr. Putin is an avid telephone collector and may steal your phones. Don't think he will. He's been putting quite a lot on eBay, hasn't he? There's a lot on eBay from Russia. There's a lot of phones from Russia on eBay at the minute. There was a phone on eBay the other day from the Ukraine. Who's going to be stupid enough to buy that from the Ukraine? What's your chances of actually getting that out the Ukraine? I mean, Hermes can't deliver a phone from down the road. So they're not going to manage to sort of dodge the bomb craters in the Ukraine to deliver one, are they? So, yeah. But yes, there are a lot of phones from that kind of area that are on eBay at the moment. Strangely, don't know why they are. But yes. Yes, if Vladimir wants a telephone, tell him to get in touch. I'm not at war with him. He can buy one like anybody else can. Right. Where are we? There we go. Right, so yes, that's the compact telephone anyway. Or the Jubilee phone. As I say, there were differences. When these became the compact phone, there were differences. The main differences were internally in the bell set. The other difference, though, was, of course, in the centre here, they didn't have the Jubilee thing in the centre. So an ordinary compact phone has a dial label where it would normally have a dial label. So this thing under here was deleted. And it's just plain under here. It's not got this piece, which is actually an added-on plastic surround. You know, the blue surround is added on. To hold that label. So that was deleted. The Jubilee thing in there was deleted, and it became the compact. So anybody who ever wants to know where the field trial compact phones are, simple answer is they're here. This is why you never see a field trial compact, because they all got took back and turned into Jubilees. So that is that for today. There is another thing about these that is very slightly different. You probably can't see it because I know this is looking a bit black on the camera, but trust me, the whole case of this is dark blue. But the finger plate with the numbers on, the numbers on a compact are actually the same dark blue as the case. They are not black, they are dark blue. So they've made a special finger plate to go in the dial. that is dark blue, and actually it's so close to being black they might as well not have bothered, because nobody ever notices, but they are different. Miguel says, thanks Andy, looks like I stirred up a hornet's nest. Getting back the Hungarian phone needed much work on it, but got it working. Bought many phones from Ukraine, but don't know about now. Well, I was very surprised. I was very surprised that there was anything on eBay from the Ukraine. I was very, very, very surprised, because I wouldn't have thought eBay would allow something from the Ukraine to be listed at the minute, because to protect the buyers, because there is a good chance, isn't there, that it's not going to arrive, or it's not going to arrive in a timely manner. So to protect buyers, I wouldn't have thought eBay would be allowing listings from the Ukraine at the minute. So I was surprised to see it. But yeah, but I wouldn't buy anything from there. Definitely would not buy anything from there at the moment, because you might not get it. It's as simple as that. It might not turn up. They might say, oh, sorry, we've been bombed. Even if they've not been bombed, they might say, sorry, we've been bombed, and not send the thing that you've paid for. So, you know, because they're not all honest, which is what people are forgetting about the Ukraine. Not everybody in the Ukraine is honest, which is why the pipeline that went from Russia to Germany through the Ukraine, that was supposed to be replaced by the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, the pipeline which didn't go through the Ukraine, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline goes around the Ukraine, and the reason it goes around the Ukraine is the old pipeline, which the Ukrainians get paid for the oil flowing through it across their territory between Russia and Germany. That pipeline, the Ukrainians tapped into it twice and stole all the oil out of it. That's what they don't tell you about the Ukraine. So yeah, so they're not, you know, they're not totally innocent and everything. So yeah, I'll be controversial, I don't care. Right, okay, where have we got to? The chat seems slow as well tonight. I think there's something wrong with YouTube tonight. It doesn't seem to be working the way it should tonight. But we've managed to do what we wanted to do. I've managed to show you the Jubilee telephone. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there is no Platinum Jubilee telephone. I did consider making one. I did consider making a Platinum Jubilee phone. And yeah, a bit late now, but maybe we could have made a Platinum Jubilee phone. A Platinum Jubilee trim phone would have been good, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah. Maybe we still will. Maybe we will. I'll have a word with someone. See what we can figure out. But yes, the compact phones are, well, they are what they are really. And there is a wall-mounted version of it as well, whereby the box, you take the cover off the box, and then there is like a fancy wall bracket that the bell set goes inside the wall bracket, and then the phone sits on top of it. They're nearly always broken because there's little plastic clips on them that break off. They're nearly always broken, but there is a wall mounting kit, so you can mount it on the wall, which is kind of nice. But they are what they are really. And I think just to make a phone that will fit on a windowsill, I think basically, why did they bother? Why did they bother? Because they're not, if I'm honest, they're not a fantastic phone. I mean, you know, they do slide about a bit, and you've got all these curly cords to get tangled up, and yeah, yeah. I'm not entirely sure why they bothered, but they did. So there you go. Right. Okay. So that is about that. Dominic says, "Is there anyone going to a street party on the Jubilee weekend? So sort of next weekend?" No, I don't. I've not been invited to any street parties or anything. I don't think there's any around it. The street I live on can't really have a party because it's a bit of a main road, so they can't really shut it. No street parties here. I've never been to a Jubilee I've never been to a street party for anything, actually, celebrating anything. You know, they just don't seem to do them these days. But no, it's not happened. That street party. Not sure why. Is anybody else going to one? I'm not. Right. Nothing else telephone-wise has arrived this week. Hopefully there will be some arriving by next week, because I've managed to obtain a job lot of phones, and I was hoping I was going to be able to get them today, so we'd have them on for tonight. Then I was going to do this Jubilee thing next weekend, but I've not been able to get them today. So hopefully sometime in the week I'll be able to go and pick them up, these phones, and then hopefully they'll be with us for next week's show. Next week, by the way, I think we're going to be half an hour later, 6:30 next week. So yeah, I've still got all sorts of things left here. I've still got this that's drawn a complete blank. Right, this is where I have an avalanche. I've still got this that's drawn a bit of a blank. A few people have come up with suggestions of what it might be, but nobody's come up with a definitive what it is. But yeah, if anybody knows, if anybody recognises that, get in touch. I say one or two people have come up with what they think it could be, and things that are very similar. Nobody's actually nailed it as to what it is, though, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be right or wrong, but I'm just looking for suggestions, if you like, on that one. Where it says, I can remember going to a street party when I was a lad. Can't recall if it was a Silver Jubilee or Charles and Di's wedding. No, I didn't go to a street party for either of those things. Dominic says, I've got my 1945 King Pyramid in use this coming week. Cool. Excellent, Dominic. Excellent. Are you changing the phones over that sit on the windowsill? You know, do you sort of have a topical one on the windowsill? You should have a Jubilee on the windowsill this week, surely. Surely it should be a Jubilee this week that you're using, shouldn't it? 1945 King Pyramid. It's working then, I take it, Dominic. It's all operational. I've still got one under the desk here that wants a few bits. I've shown you this before. Yeah. Oh, God, picking it up's a real effort. They're mega heavy, these. But yeah, I've still got this one here. Getting a bit dusty under the desk. This is quite a nice one, actually. I might have to clean this one up. Not too damaged on the... I don't think it's damaged at all on the Bakelite, this one. Normally there's cracks in them. I can't see a crack at all in this one. The main bit of it anyway. Yeah. Very cool. See, that dial moves a lot better than the dial on the compact does. So yeah, might have to get this one sorted out. I am at some stage going to do a video on these cords as well, because you can buy these cords off eBay at a ridiculous, extortionate price. Don't is my advice, because you can make them, and the single core of this kind of like cotton covered cable, a single core of it, which is kind of placked together to make this, is very, very cheap indeed if you buy it from the right places. So when I get round to it, we'll be doing that. Put this back up there, yeah. Right. Gambo says, I've assembled my pyramid phone but not wired it up to the line. So I change my phone on the windowsill every month, just so I know they're all working and get a chance to be used. It's a good idea. It's a bit like cars, isn't it? You know, you have to keep them working. There's a fly flying around in here. It's really bugging me. Dominic has a phone rotor too. He says he's just gone from the newest, the Ambassador, to the oldest. Yeah, so the Ambassador works then, Dominic, because mine didn't work when mine arrived. It had got problems with the circuit board inside it. Dry solder joints and stuff like that, some wires that were completely off. In fact, it took quite a bit of digging around inside it and resoldering to get it working, mine. But it is working now. Just don't know how to put it. I had to look for it the other day. Don't know how to put it. I've packed it in a box somewhere and not sure where I've packed it. By the way, talking of packing things into boxes and that, we will be at Sheffield Steam Rally in a few weeks' time. I think it's something like 5 weeks from now. I know it's not long, but we will be at Sheffield Steam Rally. So, well, it's near Northampton. So anybody who's going along to Sheffield Steam Rally this year, watch out for us. I will be on the Sheffield Collectors Club stand at Sheffield Steam Rally with a load of telephones and various other collectibles. I think there's going to be somebody there with Mamod Life Steam models. I think there's going to be somebody with old mobile phones who collects cell phones. Yeah, we've got hurricane lamps, you know, Tilly lamps and other hurricane lamps and things. Vintage sewing machines, all sorts on the Sheffield Collectors Club stand at Sheffield Steam Rally, which is coming up in I think it's 5 weeks. I can't remember if it's the last weekend in June or the first weekend in July. I think it's the last weekend in June. I think it's the final weekend in June, so it might only be 4 weeks now. But yeah, Sheffield Steam Rally, and then the week after Sheffield Steam Rally, still in the Sheffield area, the same display, or similar display, again Sheffield Collectors Club, will be at Abbeydale Miniature Railway, which is right opposite Dore and Totley Station, across the other side of Sheffield. So anybody that wants to come and see us and travel by train, the one to come to is Abbeydale Miniature Railway, which is the week after Sheffield Steam Rally, because you can get to us from Dore and Totley Station. It is literally a 2-minute walk across the road from the station. Dominic says, is it the same one that was cancelled last year by the council? I've been meaning to go to that one. Yes, that's the same one, Dominic. Yeah, Sheffield Steam. It's not actually in Sheffield, it's quite a distance away from Sheffield. if you turn up in Sheffield city centre and go, where's the steam rally, you're going to have a nasty shock because it's quite a distance away. Near a place called Northampton. Yeah, do they have a free bus service that goes into that one? Some of these steam rallies have a free bus service that goes. I don't think that one does, though. I don't think that one does. But yes, it is the one that was cancelled by the council last year. But hopefully we'll be going ahead okay this year. And we've got a stall. Well, it's not a stall, it's a display, because it doesn't really sell anything, but it's a display right near the entrance and exit. So you'll see us as soon as you go in, and you'll see us last thing before you come out as well. People are saying, when is it on? I'm fairly... Have I got the date on my phone? Let me just have a little look and see if the date is in my phone. I'm pretty sure it's the 25th and 26th of June, but I'm not certain. If you go on Facebook though, or Google or anything, look for Sheffield Steam Rally, you'll find it. But I'm pretty sure it's the 25th and 26th of June. I think. Right, okie dokie. Gambo says, I won't be here in 2 weeks. I'm in Donington for the Download Festival to celebrate my 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Gambo. It's actually your birthday in 2 weeks. Can give you the bumps and everything. It's going to download at Donington. It just hopes it stays dry. Doesn't fancy it wading through mud for 3 days. Dominic says he might not be on next week. Crikey! Everybody's deserting. Everybody's deserting. Well, you can always watch it on catch up. The only thing I say to people is if you want to watch this after the event, give it a few days. And the reason is, when this is all processed into YouTube does a thing called processing. I don't understand exactly what it does, but basically between this stream finishing and it coming available as a video, it does something called processing. Right? And when it comes available as a video, YouTube then, off their own bat, without any help from me, insert adverts into it. And they put them in the most stupidest places. I don't know if you've noticed this on YouTube, but they put a load of adverts right at the beginning of a video. So you'll be watching a video for maybe 2 minutes, and then there'll be an advert. And then you watch it for another 2 minutes, and there's another advert. And another 2 minutes, and there's another advert. And it's ridiculous how close together they are. So what I do is I basically follow television rules, and I go through and delete the adverts that YouTube have put in. But it takes me a few days to do it because I have to wait for YouTube to put them in. Then I have to go through and snip them out again. And I only leave them in. At the most, I leave in one every 15 minutes. In fact, sometimes I don't put any internal adverts in at all. I just put the ones in at the beginning and at the end, because it's just absolutely bonkers how many adverts they put in. So if you want to watch this after the event, give me a couple of days to snip the adverts out. Otherwise it will drive you crazy, because I know it does me. But there's nothing I can do about it. You monetize the video, but YouTube is just so greedy with the adverts and that. I think what it is, it's designed to annoy people so much that they pay to have YouTube Red that's not got the adverts in. It's designed to annoy people they're trying to annoy people so much with the adverts that you go and get YouTube Red and pay to have YouTube Red, which is the same videos but no adverts in. But yeah, YouTube is basically annoying people more and more and more, and at some point it's going to get to a critical mass where both the viewers and the content creators go to you then and all clear off and go onto another platform somewhere like Library or Daily Motion or Twitch or various others. Gambo says, I was watching a bus restoration vid and it was adverts after every 30 seconds. Yes, Gambo, that's exactly what I mean. What you might do, Gambo, is leave a comment on the video to say something like, great video but totally unwatchable due to the number of adverts. Please cull some of the adverts out of your video, because it's just absolutely ridiculous, the number of adverts that they put in. I run an ad blocker now all the time, and they're like, oh, ad blocker, and I know I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying I run an ad blocker, because if you all go and run ad blockers, it means I don't make any revenue from this video. But the thing is, if people just put one or two adverts in here and there, or YouTube just put one or two adverts in, I'd have no problem watching the adverts, no problem giving people revenue for watching the adverts, because every time somebody watches your advert you get a little bit of revenue for it. But when it's a ridiculous number of adverts at a ridiculous rate, like one every 30 seconds, that's just stupid in my opinion, and so that's driven me to installing an ad blocker. If they hadn't put so many adverts in stuff, I would never install an ad blocker, but because they put so many adverts in, I do now run an ad blocker. Fat Hobbit says, there aren't viable alternatives to YouTube, I'm afraid. It's difficult, Fat Hobbit. One of the best ones is Library, which has now retitled itself as Odyssey, spelled Odyssee. Don't ask me why they've spelt it like that. How do they expect anybody to find it when they spell it in such a stupid way? You know, the internet is all about being discoverable. How does that word that is not a word, how is that discoverable? Odyssee, Odyssey. But technically, that runs on the Library system, which is very good because it's decentralized and theoretically can't be censored. So that's pretty good, and many of my videos that are under an hour in length do go on there, because I've got a channel on there that videos that are under an hour in length automatically get uploaded to it. Unfortunately, it won't automatically upload videos that are over an hour in length, so these live shows tend not to go on there. But anything under an hour in length goes on to Odyssey as well, which runs on the Library system. So Odyssey is basically, if you understand about servers and clients, Library is not really a server, it's a kind of peer-to-peer cloud thing, but you view it through client software, and Odyssey is a web client that you can view library content through. But other people can make clients to view content through, and the clients can censor the content. So Odyssey, for instance, I think censors adult content, so there's no adult videos of any kind on Odyssey. But if you just go in via Library and download the Library software to get into the back end of Library, you can see all the Library content, but Odyssey does censor what it has on, like YouTube censors what it has on, as we found out tonight. But that is the only one. If you look back on my channel, on this channel, there is a video, I think it's called something like How to Use Library, and that explains a bit about it. Right. So yeah, they are one of the few alternatives to YouTube. When a really good, viable alternative for YouTube does come along, it will kill YouTube, because Google has just annoyed so many people that as soon as there's an alternative platform that is a half decent alternative, there will be millions of people jumping ship off YouTube, literally millions, because YouTube just makes everybody's life, well, Google in general just makes everybody's life more difficult every day, which is why I've now got to get all new email addresses, because they've decided that they're not going to support the email software that I use anymore. So rather than pander to what Google want me to do and do all this two-step verification nonsense and that, I said sod it, I'll get a new email address that's not a Google email address. So anybody who wants to send me an email now, and if you've got my email address, basically screw that one up that you've got and throw it in the bin. The new email address, it's really simple, andy@coalpress.net is the new email address. Have you got that? Got a pen? I'll tell you again in a minute. Go and get a pen. Yeah, because Google's just been an arse, basically. So, the new email address, andy@coalpress.net. I can't put it up on the screen. If I put it up on the screen readers that can read it, and I'll get loads of spam. But I can tell you that email address. It's easy, you see. andy@coalpress.net. Right, cool. Right, I think that is probably about as far as we go for today. Thanks to everybody who has been on and taken part again. Gambo's birthday is apparently 2 weeks on Tuesday. So happy birthday, Gambo, for 2 weeks on Tuesday, because I'm likely to forget. So I'll say it now. Happy birthday for 2 weeks on Tuesday. Cool. Excellent. Right. That is about as far as we go, as I say, for today. Thanks to everybody for watching once again. Please remember, though, before you go, if you've not done it already, can you hit the like button, please, wherever it may be on your system. Hit that little thumbs up, likey thing. It really does help. It helps the live streams get discovered for next time and stuff. So if you can hit that, it would be much appreciated. I will be back with another live next week, the slightly later time, put it in your diaries, of 6:30, because in the daytime next week I'm out with a stationary engine at, I believe we're at, oh hang on, I think we're out at Arkwright's Mill at Cromford. With the stationary engine next Sunday. I think it's still to be confirmed, but I think we're going to be there. So if anybody's in the area around Cromford next Sunday between about 10 and 3ish, get yourself over to the car park of Arkwright's Mill. It's totally free to go and have a look round in there as well, and it's quite good. Cromford Mill at Cromford Mill at Cromford, Arkwright's Mill. Get in there and come and say hello. You'll see me there with a vintage stationary engine. Then I will be hightailing it back here for 6:30 for another Andy's Shed Live. It's going to be a very, very busy week, one way or another. But for me, for now, have a fantastic week ahead. Have a great Jubilee holiday, whatever you happen to be doing out there. And I will see you all next time. Dominic says, enjoy celebrating 70 years of Her Majesty. I'm not doing much celebrating. The only bit of celebrating that I'm doing really is that. that's the only bit of celebration that we've done. But we'll be back, like I say, half an hour later, 6:30 next week, hit like, subscribe if you've not subscribed already, and also don't forget we've got the website here, andyshed.corepress.net. God, even that's royal purple. We'll see you next time. From all of us here for now, bye for now.